Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Addison, whatever time you're listening, and thank you for joining us for our ASD Chat for All podcast. We have lots of fun and exciting things on the horizon for Addison School District 4, and this podcast allows us the opportunity to connect with our parents and guardians, families, and community to celebrate our students, their accomplishments, and so much more. Your hosts for this podcast are ASD4 Superintendent Dr. Nick Sutton and myself, Dean Constantopoulos. You interested in hearing more about what's going on in District 4? Come on in and have a chat. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining us for another episode of our ASD Chat for All podcast. My name is Dean Constantopoulos. I'll be one of your hosts this afternoon, and I'm joined with my co-host, Dr. Nick Sutton. Nick, how you doing today?
We're well. I am well. It is nice out. We're already here at mid-September, and it's kind of past that feeling of the start of school. We're kind of at the fall point of school. We're starting to hear things about trick-or-treat and October and colder weather. And so it's like we live in a very seasonal world.
That's
of
right.
The area of public education. We're well past that first day of school, and it's nice.
Exactly. You know, I saw the other day, something that said, like, especially when you live in the Midwest, you need to watch out for, it's not just 4 seasons, there are like 12 seasons or something like that.
True.
And right now we are in, second or like fake fall or something like that. It's a pretend fall.
I'm ready for the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, while it's unclear about the seasons, it is very clear that we have a great guest today.
What a transition.
I know, right? That was I got to work on those. But anyway, we have a great guest today. Joining us today is Kerensa Schwarz from Fullerton School.
That's correct.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a pleasure to have you on. So let's just go ahead and hop right in. So we know who you are, but for anyone listening, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What's your role here in the district? And how long have you been with ASD4?
Okay, I've actually been with Addison School District since 2008.
Okay.
I started as a paraeducator over at Wesley. And then I was encouraged by some wonderful teachers there to get my teaching degree. So I went to college at 45. And
Awesome.
I did it in 4 years and then became a teacher. So this is my 6th year of actually teaching.
Wow, the universe had a plan. Interesting.
That's so cool. I love that. Well, especially in that. Thank you for sharing that about going back to school, because that just I love the idea of, like, you don't have to like follow a rigid plan of like going to school right after school. You can go out into the world and see what you want to do, and then when you find your passion at whatever age, like, there you go and discover it, you know?
It's exactly that. I mean, I always tell my students that, you know, it's never too late to go to college. So even if they can't do it straight away, they can always go back. I was the oldest student. Actually, I got a scholarship for being a minority student, as in I was the oldest. There wasn't many of us. But I had some great advice from a teacher. She had said to me, you can be 49 and be a teacher, be 49 and wish you were a teacher, but either way, you're going to turn 49.
I'm going to use that. I
love that.
That was great advice. And I was really nervous going to college because as a student, I can't say I was the best and didn't have the right support in the school, perhaps.
It just wasn't the right time.
It wasn't the right time. But so I was really nervous. So I just took 2 courses while I was still working at Wesley at COD, and got great grades. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so it gave me some confidence.
That's awesome.
That's great. So it's like, needless to say, it's been an interesting couple of years with this whole thing called COVID. So I guess now that we're fully back, like, what have you noticed outside of the obvious? Like, how have kids transitioned back? And if anything, like, there probably wasn't a class that you took on how to teach during a pandemic and after a pandemic. So what kind of general reflections would you just share with people?
Well, I've always thought that teachers are quite a lot social worker as well as teacher for academics.
Also.
So one thing I did notice, I think the children were really glad to be back at school.
Yeah.
But I did notice a lot of social issues, like not always following directions the first time, like maybe they would have done, maybe some conflict between students, not being able to handle that correctly. So that I think social issues is the biggest thing that I've noticed since they've come back. But I think they were very excited to be back in the classroom.
And I'm glad that you shared that, because I think it's for any parent that's out there listening right now, that if they see that their kiddos are still struggling for some of the things, I know adults that are still struggling from the pandemic, so why wouldn't kids? So it's like, I think it's good that the parents feel empowered and essentially that it's all right, that if they're seeing some of those same struggles with their kids, because teachers certainly are.
Exactly, and I think patience is the biggest thing, and realizing that we can all do better, children and adults. And that's what I tell my students all the time, that, you know, we mess up just as much as kids mess up sometimes, and it's okay. But it's not what you're doing, it's how you're reacting to it. So I think that's the biggest thing. Just have patience with them, and it will eventually come together.
Love it.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Thank you. Now, I'm trying to place your accent, right? I'm thinking Texas. No, I'm kidding.
Not.
I'm kidding. But so let me ask you a question, right? So I've had the opportunity to teach overseas, and so as somebody who has come from overseas, do you have any like tips or tricks or any of the processes that you learned in your education over there that you've brought or that you can utilize in the classroom here in the States?
I don't know. I've changed countries because I lived in Australia, I lived in England, and now here. I think just getting used to that no school district, it's just like the same as no teacher teaches the same, no classroom is the same, no school district's the same, and certainly no country is the same. So it's just getting used to how people do things differently, and, you know, asking questions, and just knowing that what you used to do isn't always what you should be doing now.
Yeah.
It's like a continued evolution is what
it
I'm
is. It's
hearing.
very fluid.
I like that. I like that.
What do you think is like what would you say is like the biggest jarring change that you noticed when you first got here?
Okay, so this is kind of funny.
I'm excited for this response.
So I needed some peanut butter, and I was asking for peanut butter, and they kept saying, yeah, the Jif is down that aisle. And I said, well, I don't want Jif, I want peanut butter.
Yeah.
And they're like, but the Jif is down there. And I'm like, but Jif is bathroom cleaner. I don't want bathroom cleaner. I want peanut butter. Because in England, Jif is actually a bathroom cleaner.
Oh, that's
and not
fun.
peanut
That's
butter.
a little bit of a difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big difference. And then I will say, I remember Dominic's that used to exist no longer. I just remember when I first came over here, standing in front of the aisle, just crying because none of the products my mother used was in front of me, and there was like so much choice. In England, you might get maybe 2 choices.
I see.
And here there was a whole aisle.
Yeah,
I
right.
just remember my husband at the time, well, not at the time, he's still my husband. He was just like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't know what to pick.
Too many choice, not
Too
always a
many
great
choices.
thing, right?
I love
That's
it.
funny.
So this will be like an interesting transition, but it kind of continues on the positive theme of fun things. So what cool things are going on at Fullerton that you're excited about, whether it's your classroom, the school, events, activities, or just general information you want parents to know about?
Well, there's always a lot going on at Fullerton. I mean, the PTA does a great job in putting on a lot of like things like the Monster Bash is coming up soon. But we're always, and also parents, if you want to get involved, please join the PTA. They always need extra people. And you can get really involved and get to know teachers that way as well. You know, and I appreciate that a lot of people are working, and if they can't, you know, please come or try to come to the actual activities, because a lot of the teachers help out. So you get to know other parents, you get to see who your friends are hanging out with, and you also get to know the teachers a little bit more deeply as well. So that's always
Great advice. Great advice.
Love that. Well, thank you. And so, well, let me ask you one last question. I'm sure that anybody listening would have some interesting questions, or they may want to talk to you a little bit more about things that are going on at Fullerton. What is the best way that a parent or somebody from the community could reach out to you if they have questions?
So from when we were staying at home and teaching at home, we had websites. I continued with mine. So I have a link that is given out to my parents and the students, but Anybody can just email me and ask me. And so on the website, I always have a joke of the week, a little bit about myself, but I also have information such as, the schedule, important dates, the calendars on there as well, links to things such as like breakfast and lunch menus.
Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of information on there, but, anybody can, my email's on there, my telephone number, so anybody can drop me a line. Normally you can get that through the staff directory, but I did notice they changed that a little bit, so we have to add that on as well.
Gotcha. Well, I can add, keep a lookout for anybody listening. I can put the link to that website in the description to this podcast. So, Nick, same question to you. If anybody has any questions about the upcoming year, updates about the cool round building renovations, anything like that, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
I spend plenty of time here at the Addison board office, so by phone or email, but I like my Twitter. I like my Twitter, Dean. Anybody out there at Dr. Nick Sutton? What about you, Dean? Same question?
I will be happy to answer anybody's questions. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. That's going to be at AddisonSD4. So, Kerensa, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure to get to talk to you.
It was nice to meet Dr. Sutton.
Oh,
nice to see you again, Dean.
Thank you very much.
Likewise.
And for everybody listening, stay tuned for next time. Thank you for tuning in to our ASD Chat for All podcast. Check us out at www.asd4.org, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts for more. We'll be back soon with another episode, so stay tuned.